Look at the citizen. Picking out your clothes for you now, man. Well, as you can see, we've taken very good care of your lady friend. And I mean, it wasn't easy to get the guys to lay off of this. You know what I mean. But I persuaded the guys to lay off. I mean, until I talk to you, at least.
All right, talk.
Oh, wow. I mean, can you believe what the outside world has done to this child? Do you remember how polite he was when he was with us? Pom-Pom went for a midnight swim last week. And when she came back to get her clothes, the club's money was gone. And so was CC. Now, I mean, it is bad. I mean, it is really bad enough to leave the gang and not say goodbye. I mean, it hurts. But when you run off and you take the gang's money, that is not a cool thing to do.
You want the 500 back and the girl and I can split. Is that the deal?
Figure is now an even 1,000.
You are listening to They Must Be Destroyed on Sight. The following podcast contains adult language, adult situations, and spoilers for the movies discussed occur often. You've been warned. Now, take it away, Dr. Rausch.
They must be destroyed on sight.
Hello, welcome back. It is They Must Be Destroyed on Sight, episode 224. Finally. This one's been a while in the making.
That's my fault. I apologize. That's entirely my fault. Because I was unclear in our planning DMs to Lee. And he thought I was going to show up last week. And I said, fuck you. I have better things to do. That's what happened.
I've heard that so many times. Daniel just kind of loves me and leaves me whenever he feels like it. But
yeah,
right.
Well, you know, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. I have better things to do than to talk to you.
I know. But I'm Lee. Gives motorcycling a bad name, Russell. Joined by my might be replaced co-host here, Daniel. I'm a teenage prostitute. Give you any ideas, Harper? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. I'm not a teenager, but given the choice between, what I do now and being a prostitute, it's kind of a wash, Yeah. OnlyFans. Daniel Harper OnlyFans. That's what we need, ultimately. Yeah.
You'll have to compete with our co-host and I's on Lee fans. That's going to happen sometime in the future. Yeah. And
nicely done. Nicely. Yeah. I'm gonna applaud you for that one. I'm not gonna literally applaud. I'm just gonna virtually applaud you for that.
I didn't come up with it. She came up with it. So it's
yeah.
But join us again, Lee. I steal from the rich because the poor have no money. Hardy, how you doing?
I like that. That is a good intro. That should be my intro for like OnlyFans. My bio, when they ask for your bio. That's it. There you go. I figured it out. Problem solved.
When you've done 224 episodes, he's really like scraping the bottom of the barrel of those. But
I enjoy them. Like every time. That's like one thing I always get excited for. I'm like, I wonder what he's going to come up with this time. And yes, I am fantastic, by the way. Thank you.
I feel like it's my opening clips now that are suffering here and there. Like the clip I picked for this one just sucks, but like I could have spent like the extra time to actually like rip the movie off YouTube and find like a really good clip and put it in there. But I was like, nah, just someone uploaded this one scene on YouTube. That's good enough. Fuck these people who listen to us. They don't care. It's fine.
Great to put the effort in. I'm happy that I'm a part of such a thought out show.
Oh yeah, professional podcast where half the time I forget to fucking record the fucking episode these days. It seems like
it wasn't. It was one episode, but it was like a 3-hour episode. So.
Well, no, I've done that once before. If you do recall, Daniel, we had to restart the episode and do it over again. And then there was that time where I erased one of our episodes. I just delete it. I don't even need to download it and edit it. I'll just delete it right offhand. Yeah. So it's good.
I mean, it happens occasionally, but like one time in 100. I mean, yeah, it was fine. It's
I guess. I mean,
I guess I made you nervous. I understand. It's cool. It's cool.
You just couldn't deal with the brilliance of me talking about Hackson again. That was
Our best of lists were too good for the people to actually listen to. That's
too good.
Yeah. Although, actually, those lists will, like I said in a previous episode, they will show up on the actual Facebook page for anyone who's actually interested in that. So I'll probably be posting that next week.
Post.
It's going to be a long post. Yeah, so... Anyway, we're going to be talking about Cece and Company from 1970 this time around. Some more Ann-Margret goodness. That's basically why I put this on there. And also because... this movie got a little bit of talking up in Quentin Tarantino's recent film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it's one of the trailers that's shown when Sharon Tate goes to the movies. So that's kind of why it was sort of swimming in the back of my brain, and I put it on the list. Do we have anything we've watched lately that anyone wants to talk about? Or
every time you ask me this, I always freeze because I feel like I've watched so many movies, and then I'm like, what the fuck have I watched? I don't remember. I have watched 2 movies that I have this like love-hate relationship with. So I watched the second Mamma Mia. I can't remember what it's called now, but anyways, it was so cheesy and
Mama
so bad.
Dua is probably what it's called, you know.
Or is it Mamma Mia 2?
Back
Electric
again?
Boogaloo?
I don't know. No. I don't remember.
Back in the Habit?
All I know is I watched it, and it's like that feel-good movie that like makes you feel awesome, and then it just makes me laugh because Cher's in at the end, and she's so old now. Like, I fucking love her. Like, the fact that she's even there, I'm like, cool, awesome. Like, you're amazing. But you can tell she's old because she barely moves anymore. There's no show in her. There's just, I am a presence.
Some parts of her face are only like 5 years old. Yes,
yeah. But she's literally she's just a statue now. Like, she just stands there beautifully. Like, admire me. I want to be at that fame. I want to be at that fame where I literally have to do nothing, and people are just fucking throwing themselves at me.
That sounds less about you and more less about Cher and more about your like desire for adoration. So by which I mean I understand your fetish and I approve.
Okay, good. The other one I watched was called Prom. It's a Netflix original. And I had a hate on for this one for most of the movie because it's such a serious topic. Like the whole LGBTQ just being respected and having your own prom and all that kind of stuff. It's just how they started the movie with like these celebrities trying to be like, we want to bring our fame back. And then they go there and then they really don't really cause a ruckus and they really don't do anything and they're really kind of useless. I don't know. I liked it because I thought it was like a feel good, but then I hated it because I was like, you just converted a bunch of people who are homophobic, hardcore homophobic, in a song and be like, hey, by the way, you're not homophobic anymore.
Oh,
I don't know.
They cured their homophobia in one fell swoop. Is that what happened?
Yeah. It just, I don't know.
Or that's what they want you to believe. Is basically.
Yeah, and I also rewatched Burlesque for the 1,000th time. Terrible movie, but the women are gorgeous, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I got one I'll mention. This popped up on Netflix a week ago or so. Hotel Artemis from 2018. At the time it was released, it was set 10 years in the future, so it's 2028, Los Angeles. When you know it, riots happening in Los Angeles.
Riots happening in the middle of a pandemic. proto-fascism happening? Is that what's
It's a little bit. The riots are over the privatization of water. Is what's going on.
Yeah.
It's basically a
we're not there
neo-noir.
yet. We'll get by 2028.
We're getting there. Yeah. But it's set more around this sort of neo-noir sort of conceit. Jodie Foster is in this. Jeff Goldblum is in this. Zachary Quinto. Charlie Day, Dave Bautista is in this as well.
I love Charlie Day.
And it's set in the titular Hotel Artemis, where these big riots break out. And Hotel Artemis is basically this old hotel that's been retrofitted with some modern technology to be a secret clinic run by Jodie Foster as this sort of crime doctor who, takes in like VIP criminals as her patients and cures them and stuff, right? And stitches them up and shit. So she's getting some like high profile criminals in her clinic while these riots are happening. And so they're all various different characters, like Charlie Day's a gun runner, and Dave Bautista's actually the nurse. He's Jodie Foster's nurse, which is funny. Jeff Goldblum is this major crime boss called the Wolf, who has just like decided he's got to show up because he's got a wound in his side or whatever. And he's actually the guy who set up the hotel for Jodie Foster and made her like the head of it and everything like that. And she follows these.
This feels like a Wachowski sisters movie or something. Like
it's it's very the way it sort of visually looks. It's very John Wick. Ish in how it looks, but the action scenes are actually much more naturalistic, and I kind of appreciated that. Like the fight scenes are really good, and nothing really happens in the film until like the very last 20 minutes. Then everything sort of hell breaks loose, but up until then it's all character stuff for the most part, and all these different criminals, and they all got different shit going on, and there's like some secret subplot stuff going on. Some of it's a little convoluted, a little trite, a little like I've seen that before kind of thing. But I just thought it was done really well, and it's it's kind of refreshing to see one of these movies where it does the formula thing, but it does it really well, and it doesn't try to be fancy. It doesn't try to be John Wick or something like that. Like it grounds itself enough in reality that I thought it was good, and I think it's one of Jodie Foster's best performances. Actually, like she's really good at it. Yeah, so.
And that's high praise. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's worth checking out. I
didn't watch anything, so it was fine. Okay. I watched a lot of stuff, but it was. Nobody wants to watch what I watch.
Is it porn?
I did watch some porn.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we should talk about that. Yeah.
Can we start reviewing porn? No, I'm joking. Oh my god.
We've done that. We've done it in the past.
We basically have, yeah. So
we have, yeah. No, we did Busty Cops, which was the worst movie. I think Lee and I would agree the worst movie we've ever reviewed on this podcast was Busty Cops.
It's not even really a movie. It's just...
No, it's not. It's not. But it does have women smashing eggs on each other's tits. And that's not what you've seen in any other movie that we've discussed on this podcast. So
it was definitely a first and a last. First time I ever saw it and last time I'd ever need to kind of thing, but and there's I think there's 2 sequels to that too.
Yeah, there's at least 2 sequels. Yeah, so
you can do zombie strippers or something. There's a good one.
Yeah, that's not really in a way it's kind of porn, but it's not really porn.
It's like so that. Bad. It's so bad.
Isn't Jenna Jameson in that?
Yeah. And Tito Ortiz when they were married.
She's gone full on QAnon at this point. So
it is really depressing. Like you really enjoy not only do you get off on some of these porn actresses and softcore porn actresses and stuff, but you enjoy the performances and stuff, and you're like, I want to learn more about them, and I'll go in their Instagram, and then all of a sudden there's all this QAnon shit, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes,
No, it's nice to follow some of my old school favorite porn stars and go you have really good politics. Let me support your OnlyFans for $5 a month. I have no problem with that. And then you find some of them and you go, you are now a crazy person, So yeah.
I promise I'm not crazy.
All right, you're hanging out with us. That's the thing.
So,
I'm not that level crazy.
Maybe
I'm weird, not crazy.
Maybe you're not crazy. You just have bad judgment. Like I don't know. Like,
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to play some podcast promos and some music, and we're going to come back and talk about CC and Company.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, Prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in it.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this movie.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was.
How did you watch this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
I can't turn you loose, little woman. I got to hold on, baby.
Okay, CC and Company from 1970, and I was going to put a trailer in here, but the trailer is kind of like mostly noises of punching and like
I'm not
two
surprised.
like the featured songs, and then there's like 3 seconds of dialogue. So we're not doing that.
Revving of engines, revving of motorcycles.
There's a lot of that too. Actually, it's
like,
pretty much
like
the
people zipping up black leather jackets. That's
yeah. If you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that scene with Sharon Tate in the theater, you've seen the trailer to CC and Company, so there you go. This is directed by Seymour Robbie, and he is much more of a... God, this guy is a prolific TV director. His only other real film was called Marco from 1973, and he's uncredited for one that's called Fury of the Dragon from 1976, but this was actually several episodes of The Green Hornet edited together as a feature film, so that's why he got the credit on that, right, kind of thing.
I think it's interesting that he directed Marco, but not the significantly greater critical success Polo. That seems like a...
Shut the fuck up. Okay, so...
We've reached this point in our relationship, Lee and I have.
But like I said, mostly a TV director. This guy did probably like at least one episode of every significant TV show from the mid-'60s up until the 1990s. Like, he did... If I was looking at his TV fucking credits, and I was like, holy shit. This guy was doing, like, fucking bullshit sitcoms and stuff in the mid-'50s up till, like, doing, like, 21 episodes of Murder, She Wrote, Heart to Heart, Remington Steele, Hawaii Five-0, and then I think he even did, like, a couple of... I can't remember what it is about mystery shows and stuff in like the 90s before he retired, and I think he's dead now. But
he's a director for hire. Like ultimately, like he made a couple of like low budget movies, and otherwise he works in TV. Like that's a career. Like there's a. No, I mean that's fine.
Bad or good, he's making money.
I wasn't shitting on him, Daniel.
No, I don't think you were. I'm just saying, like it's like it is. If you go to film school to become a director and that's your career, you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Yeah,
like, that's way better than most people who go to film school and become a director. Yeah.
No, this guy's responsible for directing like a significant amount of pop culture from the last century. Like that.
If you've watched TV,
you've seen his shit.
You've probably seen something he's directed. It's fine. Yeah.
Written by Roger Smith. And this is interesting. So Roger Smith was actually married to Ann-Margret for 50 years. He just recently died, too. Like, it was 2017 or something like that. He died.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So Roger Smith, he was mostly a TV actor. His best-known role was from a series called 77 Sunset Strip from 1958. And he was sort of like an up-and-coming... kind of handsome guy actor. He looks a lot like Roger Moore, actually. Like he's kind of like the American Roger Moore in his looks. He was married to actress Victoria Shaw and had like 2 kids with her, but divorced. Met Ann-Margret in 1967 and they married. But he had health problems all through his early life that affected his career. He had a blood clot in his brain very early in his career that put him on the shelf for a while. He became diagnosed with a disease called myasthenia gravis, something like that, a degenerative muscle nerve disorder, which led him to basically retiring from acting. And he became Ann-Margret's manager and produced a lot of her projects going forward.
That's cool.
And around this time, Ann-Margret was, she was a singer and an actress. She did a lot of TV specials where she did like variety shows and singing and stuff like that. He was like behind all of that stuff. But right around this time, and we talked about The Swinger many episodes ago now, we mentioned how that was a big flop for Ann-Margret. That was kind of the movie that kind of sunk her as a box office attraction for quite a while. And this project, out of all the projects they could possibly do, was their like let's get her back in the limelight. Let's get her back to, on track to being a box office draw again. And she eventually did. Like, she got in Carnal Knowledge and stuff like that and hit it big again, kind of thing. But this was sort of the first little, let's dip our toes back in and try to get her back in sort of the public view. So this is starring Joe Namath as C.C. Ryder, AFL and NFL Hall of Fame star quarterback, sometimes actor in commercials, TV, and movies. Super Bowl III MVP, apparently. Not known so much for being a great football player as he was known for being one of the first real big personalities in football who... like he was known for being a man about town in New York, romancing the ladies and talking mad shit about the teams he was going against and stuff. Like he was almost kind of like a pro wrestler of football kind of idea. Like he was good at like talking shit and being
good at cutting promos and not so good at dealing with the pigskin. That's the.
He sounds like Conor McGregor in like UFC. Like okay fighter, but just all about the fucking drama.
Yeah, apparently Namath was, pretty above average, pretty decent football player, but it was his personality that really kind of made him a star more than anything else.
Exactly it.
Yeah. We got Ann-Margret as Anne Macaulay. What can you say about Ann-Margret?
You know what's really funny? In my notes, I'm looking through my notes, and one of the things where I was looking, where there's no context or anything, it just says her smile. That's it. Like, and then I wrote, I want a sugar mama, because the whole thing, I was like, yep, she can pay for everything for me, and I will do whatever she wants me to do to her. That's just the reality of it.
She wouldn't even have to pay. It would be fine.
Yeah, who are you kidding?
Yeah.
It would help.
I love Leah being on the show, like having like the energy to take notes at this point. Like this. It's
because I will forget.
Back when we took notes, like it was.
I still take notes. I don't. I know you just wing it now, Daniel, or whatever. That's fine, but yeah,
I'm phoning it in. I've been phoning it in for a couple of years, so
And even your phoning it in is pretty decent. So I mean, yeah,
you got some pretty good reviews. So
you're coasting on talent there. So we got William Smith as Moon. William Smith, one of my favorites, prolific stuntman and actor. He made a career as an actor as like a notable sort of B-movie villain. He was the final Marlboro Man as far as televised Marlboro commercials go.
Ooh.
Some of his notable film work, he was in Darker Than Amber from 1970, which is something we should cover at some point, Daniel. He's really good in that. Piranha.
Darker Than Amber. Brown. That's... Go ahead. Okay. It's fine.
Piranha, 1972. He played Conan the Barbarian's father in Conan the Barbarian in 1982. He was in a bunch of gang movies in the 80s, like The Outsiders and Rumblefish. And he was also in Red Dawn. I can't remember what his character was. I think it was maybe one of the Russian bad guys or whatever. Kind of. And this guy's done a million like things in as a stunt double and shit too. Like he's just very 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 long career. We have Jennifer Billingsley as Pom Pom. She had a sort of minor little exploitation career in the 70s. She was in White Lightning from 1973 with Burt Reynolds. And she's in a movie that this is one of these movies that I need to track down a good copy of, that it just doesn't seem like it's available. And this one also has William Smith in it as well. It's starring William Smith. It's called Hollywood Man from 1976. And this is one I'm desperately looking to find like a really good copy on DVD of. As far as I've been trying to track it down now for a couple years, and everything is just like the cut version, which sucks ass. We have Mike Battle as Rabbit, Greg Molivay as Lizard. He was in Bob, Carol, Ted, and Alice. Actually, he was the self-help guru guy that they go to see at the beginning.
Oh God, the very beginning. Jeez, man, that's crazy. Yeah. It was the 70s. Look at that.
Yeah.
Lee, you should watch Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
Okay.
By the way. Yeah.
It's on the list. That's ever growing.
We have Ted Abrashi as Pig. and I really enjoyed her performance in this, by the way. I thought she was really good. She was also in the Big Birdcage from 1972, one of those women in prison films. And,
seems very fitting with like her personality and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything against her, just personality.
We have Don Chastain as Eddie Ellis, Sid Haig showing up as Crow, and of course we talked about him in Foxy Brown, Coffee, and Jackie Brown.
So I think it's really funny because I find that there were certain angles of Ann-Margret that really looked like Sharon Moon Zombie. And like the same kind of voice too. So as soon as I was Googling all of them and then I saw that, I was like, that's kind of a funny coincidence. Like I know what.
Yeah, with Rob Zombie, it's no coincidence because he basically just sees stuff and he copies it. So it's like, I get Sid Haig in my movies and I can copy these classic 70s movies that I watched.
Let's just reshoot the thing I've already seen him do.
Yeah.
Because I just thought there was very much a visual similarity between their two looks.
Definitely. We have Bruce Glover as Captain Midnight, and of course this is the father of Crispin Glover. He's probably best known.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you look at him, he's basically Crispin Glover with a much larger head. It's very weird. He was probably well known in the 70s at this point for the Walking Tall series. He was in Chinatown as a heavy in that. I think he's the guy who breaks Jack Nicholson's nose. He was in Hard Times, and he was one of the hitmen in Diamonds Are Forever. One of the gay hitmen in Diamonds Are Forever. Mr.
Oh,
Kid,
no
Mr.
way!
Wince. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I was more thinking like Chinatown needs to be on our like short list. That's kind of where I landed on that. But I'm like, yeah, sure.
And we got Kiva Kelly as Tandaleya. I don't know. Jacqueline Rohr as Zit. And then we have someone I want to mention here, Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders as themselves. And Wayne Cochran, interesting guy, known as the White Knight of Soul, was an American soul singer who did like country and rock and rhythm and blues. He was friends with James Brown, Otis Redding. I mean, he performs one of Otis Redding's most well-known songs in this film. Known for his flashy costumes and his giant bleached blonde pompadour hairstyle. Sometimes it was wigs, sometimes it wasn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely wearing a wig in this one. Like you can tell, like it's the helmet hair kind of thing, but a wig hat basically. But his most famous song was "Last Kiss," which was performed by other performers and made much more famous. And this guy retired from music to become an evangelist minister in Miami, Florida. I think he did some music stuff afterwards. Sort of came back, but he's one of those guys who like burned out doing lots of nose candy and shit in the 70s, and it's like, and all of a sudden I found religion, kind of thing. So, but
well, there were three options if you did a bunch of cocaine in the 70s. It was die, find religion, or quit and become one of the greatest American filmmakers. And that option was only given to Martin Scorsese.
Scorsese, yeah, I was about to say.
That was it.
It's funny, I just rewatched Taxi Driver like last week too. I was like, and Scorsese's in that, as in one of the scenes as a cab driver, or not cab driver, but a fucking
patron of the cab.
Yeah, talking about how he wants.
So we're gonna have to explain to our Zoomer audience what a taxi cab is.
Yeah,
at a certain point,
it's like
it's
Uber.
like an Uber. It's like an Uber, but they were all yellow.
Yeah,
and people actually got.
You
paid
called them by
wage.
phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or you flag them down.
Yep.
Depending where you are.
But yeah, we'll get to the synopsis here from someone called Sister Grimm on IMDb. Motorcycle mechanic CC Ryder joins the Heads, an outlaw biker gang. Fellow gang members menace fashion journalist Anne when her limo breaks down in the desert, but CC comes to her rescue. The bikers disrupt a motocross event tied in with a fashion shoot, but CC enters the competition under Anne's admiring eye. His win puts him... He didn't win. Puts him at odds with Moon, leader of the Heads. When CC leaves with his cut of the purse, the bikers kidnap Anne, and CC races Moon to win her freedom. very 1970s women as property plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get into it here. We'll just go over to you first, Lee. What are your sort of general thoughts on this one?
Okay, so I have so many notes on it. The first scene, I had a really hard time watching it. It kind of really pissed me off because the whole idea is like the love story between like Cece and Anne. Mm-hmm. And the way it started is that like he rescues her from the two guys from sexually assaulting her, but he literally lets it happen. He watches it happen. He knows it's going to happen, and he waits a bit, and then he does it. And like the fact that they waited a while before they like did anything, I was so uncomfortable, and it made me so angry right from the get-go. And I was like, no, bitch, don't go with that guy. Like, don't go with that guy. So it put a kind of like a sour taste like right from the beginning. And then when I was watching it honestly, every time I watched any of the races, they just never ended. Like, I felt like I was just watching and be like, okay, last lap because they did some crazy stunt. Nope, they're going to go again. They're going to go again. And it just, I don't know, it was kind of long-winded for me. I didn't really care for it. I wasn't a fan.
Cut out the racing sequences. This is a short film.
Yeah.
But I don't even mind the racing sequences. Like, it's just, they were too long. It's just, I didn't care for the film. I don't know. I think, like, the description was kind of perfect to say the whole property thing, because she basically said, okay, cool, let's go wherever and I'll be with you and do whatever you want and I'll leave my career for you. Not totally terrible, because I get like if you're not happy, then absolutely get up, go up and do whatever you need to do. But literally the girl nearly died and she barely knew the guy. Like, it's just I don't know, I didn't like it. Some of the people, like you said, Pig, her energy, her ridiculousness, like everything about her, she was the one I was always excited to see. Like when she was in the car when they were like hooking, and she's talking about chicken, and she's like, "How old are you?" And I just kind of, that made me laugh. I really enjoyed that part.
The guy's like, "I'm 60 something." It's like, oh shit, this is going to be a hard fucking sell.
What I really did laugh about when they said that he was like 63, I think. I think I literally have the notes in here. But anyways, I was looking at him. I'm like, my dad is 71 and does not look nearly as old as that guy did. You could tell it's an old movie when.
Oh, definitely. Daniel and I have talked many times about how just people looked way older than they were in movies back then.
It's like, oh my god, that guy looks ancient, and it's like, oh no, he was 35. It's fine.
That was like when we were talking about in Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. We were talking about the one guy where I was saying he was in his 40s, and you were telling me he was like, what, early 30s or something? I can't remember. But
the guy who died early from the brain tumor. Whatever.
Yeah.
He was only like 20 something, and he looked like 40.
Yes, even now I'm saying the wrong age, and I thought he was in his 40s. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it just, it was. I'll say it was like entertaining to watch from beginning to end. I did watch it, and I was able to stay like focused on it, so I will give it that. But truthfully, at the end, I just had this sinking feeling in my stomach that I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So that was it. I do have to say, none of the guys had butts, and it really made me angry. Like, you watch them, they pan, and they show these guys, like, this guy's supposed to be super. I did not find the lead guy attractive at all. I didn't find CC attractive. His bad boy attitude had nothing in me that was like, okay, my lady bits are tingling, like nothing. I didn't find his face attractive. I didn't find his personality attractive. I didn't find the fact that he waited for this girl to get sexually assaulted before he jumped in to get attracted.
If you knew he threw 4 touchdowns in one game, would that have affected? All right, well,
not at all. I'm not a football fan.
Apparently you are not Peg Bundy.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
I don't even know if she gets that joke, but you know.
Have you ever seen Married with Children?
I did. That's why I did get the joke. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just wasn't all that funny, Dan.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's fine.
I was laughing. I have like the hugest. I guess it's because I don't like laugh ha 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 out loud, but I did have like the big smile on. But I guess that's not.
Yeah. I was just calling it out for the audience. You see, you know, like the key to being a great podcaster is having a performative laugh. You know. Yeah. You have to go. Yeah, I get that. I got that reference to the Captain America thing. Yeah.
I can do a
laughing and pretending to actually like care what the other person's saying, on the podcast.
Yeah.
okay.
You
I
just
will do
kind of
that
nod
more.
and go, like, no, I get that. I get that completely. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I am a server, so I do have to laugh at people's bad jokes. So I will bring that forward next time I do a podcast with you guys.
Professionalism is what.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I failed you.
You got to bullshit. Like we do. Yeah.
I have a really good fake laugh, so next time I will use it. You guys
We've
make a
been
joke.
at this for 224 episodes, so it's fine.
We have like an audience of 100 dedicated people who are used to fake laughs and fake admiration. Daniel, your thoughts?
Ann-Margret is great because, of course, she is. Joe Namath. This is the first thing I've really seen him in, honestly.
This is really the first thing he ever did, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I know him by name. I think, as a child in the U.S. in the 80s, I kind of knew him as football star. He had his name on a whole bunch, the Joe Namath Hall of Fame commemorative plate or whatever. That's kind of where he was in my headspace. I'm not a football fan.
Me either. No.
As you.
Me either.
As the audience, it will shock the audience to know that I am not a football fan. But I think he's fine. He's a perfectly serviceable leading man in this kind of exploitation thing. And I didn't really love it. I didn't like this movie. It's completely out of my brain at this point. Ann-Margret is adorable.
That swimsuit.
I wish I had been taking notes so that I would remember what happened in this movie. But I have so few memories of what happened. And I'll put that on myself because I drank a 6-pack of Hop Slam before I started watching this movie this evening. So, we can take it on me. It's worth a watch. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on, you can get this for free. There are ways to watch this. It's a fun watch. I was not unentertained, and it's Ann-Margret. She's adorable, and there are other lovely ladies in it, and lots of motorcycles driving in circles, and sometimes not in circles. Yeah, all of that is fine. I don't know. This is the kind of movie, and I don't want to grade on a curve, but you kind of have to, right? This is a drive-in movie, and the point of a drive-in movie is
to get laid.
I'm 17 years old and I've got a girlfriend, in the bucket seat next to me. And the whole thing is, do I get to finger bang this girl? And that's the point of a drive-in movie, in 1970. And anything above basic competence is Oscar caliber by the standards, And Ann-Margret is adorable. She's super hot in this because of course she is. It does kind of amaze me where the swinger is the nadir of her career financially, because that's actually a very good movie, which has really interesting stuff going on, and this is coming back to fame because this is not nearly as good as The Swinger was. No. And she does nothing in it except she looks gorgeous because, of course, she does. It's also one of those things where Carnal Knowledge is the next year, and she looks significant. I looked it up, and she is 29 here, which means she's 30 or 31 when Carnal Knowledge is made, and she looks 10 years older than that, And that's not a criticism. It's just more Carnal Knowledge is just that's the, they made her up to look older, and she's still super hot. But this is Ann-Margret looking youthful and energetic and in that same Elvis movie mode, sort of thing, So yeah, watch the movie, crank it to Ann-Margret, hit mute for the rest of it, watch the motorcycle stuff. It's fine. Joe Namath is, I don't know if he's attractive. I'll leave that to Lady Lee, But like he's a perfectly fine lead for a movie of this caliber. Yeah.
There's nothing about him that I found attractive.
He's a colossal dickbag, and the thing is like he's not so much acting in this film as he's kind of just amping up his personality, I guess, like his sort of persona in the public eye. Like he has this like aloof, nonchalant kind of guy, just like goes with the flow, whatever, baby, it's fine. Like, you know. He does watch Ann-Margret start to get gang raped before he decides, hey, maybe I should step in.
I should do something about this.
I know exactly what they're going to do. Yeah. I know exactly what they're trying to do.
They're going to gang rape her, and maybe
watch.
I should do something about this.
Stand in the front and watch.
I'll watch for 10 minutes, and then I'll come in and be the hero. It'll be fine.
As soon as I saw the beginning where they started making her feel uncomfortable, and he was just watching, standing there, and he had a smile on his face the first time around, I was like, you are an asshole, you're a piece of shit, you're garbage, you're fucking awful. Like I said, right away, put a fucking very sour taste in my mouth. It really gets to me.
So Lee has not made you watch a bunch of the raping movies of the 70s yet. That's what I'm learning, because like the level of rape in this movie versus like the level of rape in like most movies of the 70s that we have discussed is like, this is like 20%. You know, like it's not that there's no rape in it, but it's certainly not like.
Oh no, that's part of my
particularly rapey. You know what I mean?
That's part of my general thoughts on this. So this movie, it's not really a biker exploitation film. Not in the sense of the ones that were around this time. Many of them with William Smith in them. This is sort of the pampered, nerfed version of those sort of films. Like, it doesn't go as dark and raw as a lot of those films do. Like, yes, there's implied, oh, we're going to gang rape Ann-Margret, but then they laugh it off as a joke, right? Like, by the end of it, it's Joe Namath and Ann-Margret laughing and like flirting and stuff for some weird reason. And it dawned on me, here's the reason why this is because this is an Elvis movie without Elvis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
you
Joe
just swap in Joe Namath to Elvis, and so you take like one of the most charming singers of his generation and go like, what if we had a football player instead?
Either way,
just swapped him in, you know, and instead, like maybe you could have found an actor, like you know, like that would have been another option. No, we're not going to go there. We're football player. That's fine. Yeah.
The biggest problem with this is it doesn't really know, like it's trying to be a vehicle for Ann-Margret, and she's the best thing in this. She tries really hard. Like, she's actually acting in this, which is like, wow, you don't need to go this hard on this, like, because this movie is not up to your standards at all.
She almost unbalances it. Like, if it wasn't Ann-Margret, like if it was just, you know, generic beautiful woman number 42 or whatever, you know, in this, and not Ann-Margret, I feel like I would have like paid attention to it more on that level, you know, as like, oh, it's some piece of cultural detritus from 1970, as opposed to, well, Ann-Margret's in it, and so like clearly it has, like, it elevates the, like, her presence elevates the sense in which I kind of get the material, right, you know. So I feel like there is a sense in which, you know, like it's like, you know, if you were watching like a slasher film in like 1997 and suddenly like Tom Cruise was in it in a bit part or something, you'd go, well, what the fuck is Tom Cruise doing in this? Right? You know, like that's kind of my feeling on it. You know,
I'm just gonna say, like, I have such, I don't know, the whole movie just made me angry, right, when I was realizing the beginning and how she was just so in love with him, and I just couldn't do it. Like, that intro just, or not intro, the intro was him making the sandwich, but that intro, that second scene, I guess you could say, that second scene, it just pissed me off so much. Like, it was so hard for me to let that go. So every time she did anything, anytime she said anything and she had any sort of attraction to him, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it just, makes me angry.
And I mean, she physically sells that her character is into Joe Namath. It's just like, there's no real reasonable reason why she should be, because he's a piece of shit. Like, he's just this aloof, like no direction asshole. And I guess you're supposed to believe that Ann-Margret's character is this person who has a successful career, going places in life, but because of the spirit of the 70s or something like that, she wants to throw it all away and go riding with this guy who's probably going to dump her a month down the road anyway and go off to the next chick, like, kind of thing.
Well, he was flirting, making out, whatever, with the gang leader's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Like, they had that scene. I remember seeing that scene and be like, why did they put this in here if there's supposed to be this huge romantic relationship? I don't know if it's because it was supposed to prove he was, like, the alpha. Because I know when you read the actual description, it says that he's trying to be the leader of the gang, but I don't see that. Like, it just seems like he's leaving it.
No,
he's trying to leave it.
The gang just likes him more than they like fucking Moon. That's
yeah.
I did enjoy some of the like fashion shoots, like, you know, like Ann-Margret as she should be the model, but instead she's like the fashion director. She's the photographer, and like the idea that she's like doing these shoots and everything, and the fact that like, no, you have to get a shot of them like jumping the thing behind the models. There's something there. There's an interest there, but the movie isn't. It just kind of does it for 2 minutes and then moves on, you know?
I mean, on a technical level, this movie, sometimes it's really good, but a lot of times it's kind of really badly edited, and stuff comes out of nowhere. Like, it just goes from scene to scene. Before Cece takes Anne out to see Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders at the club or whatever, and you know, I don't remember them setting up a date, by the way. I don't think that ever happens. But he goes to the secretary at, I think, the company Anne works for or something like that, and gets a job there.
Yeah.
He sweet talks the secretary there, and you know, he's like, you know, can you get me in and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, and he implies, I'll fuck you later kind of thing. And then it cuts to him and Ann-Margret on the motorcycle driving to the club. And it's like, where did this come from?
Okay, you want it's hilarious. You can't even really see it. I know I'm just showing you and no one's going to see it. But on my nose, there's like in capital letters, it says, how did they meet up? And that's exactly what you're saying, because I get the same friggin' thing. It was like all of a sudden they're together on motorcycle. And okay, her motorcycle, what was that? That wasn't even a motorcycle. That was like a child's like beginner's bike.
I think that's probably the budget here. Sometimes you'll see these motorcycle films in the 70s, and there's some glaring examples where they can't get Harley Davidsons or whatever, so they get like these like really shitty dirt bikes and try to pass them off as motorcycles, you know, kind of thing. And
I did love the idea.
Dirt bike.
I did love the idea that the guy is trying to take like the chopper on like the dirt bike track, and then like it breaks down at the end, and he still gets third place because he's that badass, but he has to drag the dirt like the chopper down the like it's a clever little move, like it's a clever moment, right? Yeah, like, but the movie doesn't justify, like it's one like cool little bit, one interesting thing that it does nothing and goes nowhere, right? Which again is the sort of thing that like is perfectly fine in a drive-in movie where you're just trying to finger bang your girlfriend, like, you know, like it's that's all this is trying to be, you know.
He bought a dirt bike. He goes to the dealer.
He steals the dirt bike.
And he's like, well, I need to drive it around the store at least once to see if it works right? And the dealer's like, okay. And he hands him an envelope. My money's in the envelope, by the way. You can check it later. And then he drives it around, and then he comes out in his bike, towing the dirt bike away in like a fucking wagon. And the guy looks in the envelope. Of course, there's nothing in there.
Or there's a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
it was $5 and he down payment, you know.
Yeah, well, $5 in 1970 is like, you know, $50 million in today's.
That's right.
I think it was like, what was the bike? It was 900? 700?
600 something.
600. Oh wow, I'm way off. So while I was like watching the movie, and as soon as the bikes, the motorcycles were jumping onto the track, I was like, no. Dirt bikes on a dirt bike track does not make any sense. They're not going to win. It's going to be really stupid. And then when I saw they actually played the fact that they couldn't race on the track, and they knew they couldn't race on the track, I'm like, okay, thank you. That was pretty funny. I definitely enjoyed that. I thought they were going to try and make them look superior, but they made them look like idiots trying to ride motorcycles on an actual dirt bike track.
There is a nod to actual, like, this dirt biking culture in this, right? They're like, they do take a minute to, like, hey, this should be part of our audience, so we're going to acknowledge them, kind of thing. And you'll see movies in the 70s especially kind of do this thing, and, like, also, like, you know, the beach party movies do it a little bit to surfers and stuff like that as well. You know, and the van, you know, leaning into van culture in the late 70s, early 80s. You know, they sort of pick up on...
Lady Leah has so many movies to watch.
She does,
She's got to catch up 224 episodes worth, you know.
That's what I'm going to be doing the next, like, this year. I'm just going to be watching a bunch of movies so I can just catch up with you guys and be understanding your comments versus me just standing here with drink in hand, just being like, yep, just going to nod my head and agree with you guys.
That's all I ever do is I just sit here with a break and go like, yeah, that sounds great, Lee. You're great. Yeah.
You're great. You're fantastic.
Yeah. But I feel like what basically happened here is, so Roger Smith, he didn't so much write a movie as he wrote a movie that had like a couple really good scenes for Joe Namath and Ann-Margret. And then the rest of it is just like, oh, what happened in that biker movie I saw last year kind of thing. And then he gives you some sort of like little bit of what's going on there, and they pad it out with racing footage. And that's kind of it.
Which is kind of how these things are made. Like the you know, you put together, okay, we got Joe Namath, we got Ann-Margret, we read a couple of scenes, we padded out with some generic dialogue, and then like, oh, racing footage, it's 94 minutes long, throw it to drive-ins. Everybody forgets it. And then in 2021, three douchebags review it for a movie podcast. Yeah. So, you know, like, yeah.
Us assholes.
Two douchebags and a really cool person. Review it for, you know. I would not
I feel like I'm part
describe
of the
myself as a douchebag.
Okay.
But, you know.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, you know, I'm glad you made that correction there, Dan.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear what I was
I misinterpreted that one. I thought you were complimenting me.
You know. Just...
That's falling apart beautifully.
I have to say, the people that they have for stunts, you can tell they kind of have stunt guys working because there's some of those. I have no interest in watching this movie again. I don't. I would probably tell somebody, if you want to watch like a motorcycle movie that makes no sense, or not no sense, but you want to watch a motorcycle movie that kind of makes you laugh and giggle at times, yeah, definitely. But me personally, no, I'm done with it. But I do have to say, the stunts, the acrobatics, like all that stuff, it was impressive. Like the one scene where the guy gets the dirt bike and he's joking with the dirt bike, like just goofing off, and he crashes it and jumps off, like just so flawlessly. I just watched that and I was looking, I'm like, they make it look like, knee slapper, haha, he's being a goof. No, that was insanely amazing stunt. Like that was beautifully done. Like that was one person who just decided, hey, let me goof off, just record me as I'm goofing off, and whatever happens happens. And that's what it seemed like. And it just I could watch that scene over and over again because I just thought it was so good.
Well, yeah, I mean, having William Smith like as both an actor, and I'm sure he was doing his own stunts in this for the most part. Like you can tell Joe Namath is not doing any stunts. Like when you see the like the long shots and stuff, it's obviously not him on the bike. But like William Smith was probably running the stunts. I didn't check to see. I actually didn't check the stunt department credits or whatever. But I'm pretty sure he's probably like he had a word, if not was directing the stunts most of the time. Yeah,
they were good,
and they were all good. Like they're solid.
Yeah,
even this movie that's pretty low budget is, and I couldn't find a budget for this, but it looks very low budget. The stunt work was great. Like it was very
phenomenal.
Good. Yeah,
you get a good stunt person like you know, hiring his friends and kind of going in and doing like some good stunt work, and you know, like especially if it's like, you know, we're just kind of given carte blanche to like show up on the day and do some like dirt bike sequences.
Yeah.
And we get to do the stuff that we think is fun. And like, there is this thing with stunt guys where like, well, no real director is going to let us like get away with this, but we can just kind of do this. If,
Yeah,
you know, like
70, especially 70 stunt guys. Like,
they were just let me have fun.
Yeah, let us do the thing. You know, like no.
I will say, even though this film, and I mean, this sort of goes into my final thoughts as well. Like, this film is not great. It's got a great Ann-Margret performance. I think William Smith is pretty good as the bad guy. He's kind of over the top comedic. I enjoy it. I love William Smith, so I mean, I'm a little biased on this, but the film itself overall isn't great. But I think it does have an all-time great shot and edited sequence in this that actually like it is almost like stands at like a sore thumb to the rest of the movie, and that's actually where CC takes Ann to the club, and then Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders perform their song, and I love how it's filmed. First off, I love the song. It's one of my favorite songs, Otis Redding's song, and I like the cover here. I like how it's shot. It's shot in this weird, energetic montage where, you know, it keeps cutting back and forth to, like, the different performers walking onto the stage to fill out the band and stuff. And then, then it's cutting to Ann and Cece dancing, and then as it goes along, it cuts to little inserts of their eventual sex scene that they have. And I just think like the entire energy of it is just really good. You can see why Tarantino really likes this. And I think it kind of, just for a brief moment, kind of captures like a feeling of the era that the rest of the movie really doesn't. And I thought it was fucking just brilliantly shot. It's one of my favorite scenes I've ever seen, little sequences I've ever seen in a movie. I really, really, really like it. And that actually kind
I'm going to have to rewatch. I like, you say that, and I'm like, I should rewatch that. Like, yeah.
I really like that scene.
Just can't.
But that does lead to a question, and I'll get to that when we get to the versions available or whatever. But are we good with like getting into our final thoughts on this one?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Throw to you first, Daniel.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you've listened to my thoughts so far, then you kind of get my general impressions. I would be willing to accept that I missed some things on this watch, because I did kind of watch it casually, with a few beers, etc., kind of with the preparation of doing this for the show. If there's something that I've missed, if there is like a kind of a deeper message or, something that I should rewatch for, I'd be happy to rewatch and kind of come back to it. Knowing that Tarantino, like learning that Tarantino was a fan of it, like kind of gives me a little bit more of a, well, maybe I should take it a little bit more seriously and kind of like certain sequences. Like, I'm, like a lot of these things are like first draft, podcasts, like commentary is, my first draft commentary is, this didn't really mean a whole lot for me. Ann-Margret is gorgeous. It's perfectly fine, but there's nothing really special about it. But if, those are exactly the kinds of movies that you sometimes do rewatch and find new things in. And I'd be happy to kind of learn that. But like as it is, it's like, didn't mean much to me. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's terrible. I think, if you want to watch a motorcycle racing movie with Ann-Margret being gorgeous, this is the thing you should do. The Swinger is way better. Go watch The Swinger instead.
Yeah.
Like The Swinger is like 1,000 times better than this is. So, yeah.
Or watch Viva Las Vegas too, or something.
We'll watch any of the other movies that we've done with Ann-Margret, but The Swinger is one of those. Like, if you want to watch Ann-Margret and be hot, like The Swinger is the thing you need to watch. Like, the paint dance. Any random 3 minutes of The Swinger is much better than
Yeah.
So all I have to say, I haven't watched The Swingers, but I've watched The Paint Dance.
You actually did a tribute to that on your birthday, did you not?
I did, but not directly.
Wait,
You brought it up.
Did you do something? Did you film you doing something with the paint dance? Because
No, because September 14th is National Coloring Day. So what I did was I got a bunch of paints and we painted each other with paints. So Lee made it notice because when I told him, or when I said it, he showed me the clip and I got to watch it. So that was like my kind of first experience with the paint dance and the whole paint thing. And anyways, super, super hot scene. Like,
yeah, and the paint dance honestly is like third on it's like 3 down on the list of like hottest sequences.
Oh yeah,
in The Swinger. Yeah, like so.
But it's. I have to watch it. I haven't watched it.
Yeah,
I have to watch it.
Yeah, watch The Swinger.
I do. That's probably
we're gonna have to re-review The Swinger with Lady B.
Oh, it is gonna be me being horny. Like let's be real.
No. Oh no. The first time we did it was basically Lee and I being horny. That was all it was. You know?
Yeah. So it won't just be you, kind of thing. Yeah.
While we're on this, her swimsuit in this movie. Holy, oh my goodness. Like, as soon as I saw the scene with her swimsuit, I just kind of like grabbed onto my bed and was like, I want that swimsuit and I want any girl that I'm with to wear that swimsuit. Like, that swimsuit is gorgeous. And when she was putting the baby oil on, which is terrible for your skin, please do not do that. But
it was 1970. It was 1970.
It was.
You know. Like,
I know. I'm just warning future people. As much as it's really sexy, let's do it indoors versus outdoors. Because it looks super hot, but oh my goodness. Like, I had to take a moment for that one. Like, I was enjoying that too much. So, my overall impression. ...
and now I have my cootie shot. Like
my overall impressions of the movie. I did not like it. Like I said, it put a really bad taste in my mouth when right from the get-go, they had that scene, and it was an awful scene to watch. It was really hard for me to watch. And then he was just kind of smiling, half smiling, and then he's like, oh, hey guys, let me just be the hero here. Like, that's a big old fuck you in your face. Like, I didn't like that. And then there was just so many random scenes, like the whole fight scene where the one guy gets punched and lands in a cactus, and then like there's another scene. I'm like going over my notes too because there's some things. It's just there was other scenes too where like the reactions to everything was just so over crazy. Like, whoa, we're such fans of UCC, and at the end they're just like, we hate UCC, and like the end scene where he dies, like all of that. It was just this massive over exaggeration, massive like really trying to catch people's interest, trying really hard. I just didn't care. Like the one scene where she's trying to see if the leader is asleep. She grabs his hair and like shoves him in the chair. I'm like, what is this? What is going on? And then we're talking about the date scene where all of a sudden the Cece and Anne end up together, and we're like, how did this happen? Like, where this? It's just too much. The scenes were too much for me. Like, there was just over exaggeration, and I didn't care for it. There was just no connection between a lot of scenes, and a lot of the racing scenes. Like, I love adrenaline, I love fighting, I love all that stuff, but god damn it, that bike scene on a track was just ever long. You're on an oval track. It's really not exciting for me. I don't watch NASCAR. I don't care for NASCAR. I don't care for motorcycles racing on a track. That's all I gotta say.
Right on. So box office for this got one number to this. I assume like they actually made a lot more money than this on it, but 1.1 million in rentals in North America. So that's, this is theater rentals or whatever. But I'm assuming that's actually bigger than what the budget was. So
yeah, I mean the budget is like $42 or whatever. So
yeah,
$42 plus Ann-Margret's fee, which was like 100,000 or something.
Earned every penny. DVD and release info on this. So, like you said, Daniel, Amazon Prime. So, I got to ask you, the version you watched on Amazon Prime, Daniel, did it actually have the sex scene between Ann-Margret and Joe Namath?
Oh.
Do you remember like a good 2 minutes where they're actually rolling around the sheets and you actually get a bit of Ann-Margret nudity in it as well?
I did see that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there is a cut version of this. There's several of them on YouTube. Actually, the version that is on Rare Lust, unfortunately, is actually the cut version. That's the one I initially shared with Lee, and I shared a better version from YouTube this week with her. If you look up the channel Black Hat Cinephile, you have to fast forward a couple minutes because the intro, he put some weird shit on it. I guess maybe to beat copyright.
Trying to break the copyright, yeah.
And the same with the sandwich.
I did a lot of
effects.
So with a lot of these movies of this kind of era, when I'm kind of looking at them, a little bit behind the scenes for me is I'm kind of going hey, can I watch this at 1.5 speed? It will be fine if I watch it. Which you can't do with Amazon, but I couldn't find a really nice quality looking version of it at 1.5, so I watched it on Amazon. But I probably would have enjoyed it more watching it at 1.5 speed, not having to sit through the endless motorcycle sequences. So hey, Amazon, give me the option to watch it at higher speed. But yeah, no, I didn't. I looked for it on Rare Lust. I didn't see it, but I probably just didn't.
It is on Rare Lust, but it's a rip from a bad DVD release, and there's been no official DVD release of this. They're all just sort of dodgy because it's I guess it went out of copyright, so everybody was releasing it. But it's also on Google Play. It's on the Internet Archive. So
yeah, I mean the version on Amazon Prime. I mean it looked fine. It looks good. For a movie from 1970 that doesn't have a lot of it's not Criterion quality or anything, but it looks it looks fine. Our audience will understand what it looked fine means.
Yeah.
It wasn't filled with JPEG compression and VHS errors and that sort of thing. It looked fine. So
yeah. So like I said, apparently the first time Ann-Margret did a nude scene on film. So this is her first official cinematic nude scene, even though it's just brief nudity. Just a little look at where the reviewers were at this point. Gene Siskel did a review of this, and he was not very flattering about the movie and Ann-Margret. And this just makes me basically say, I'm glad you're dead, Gene Siskel, because his quote here, Ann-Margret has a brief nude scene in which she proves, in addition to having a foul mouth, she is fat.
Ah!
Oh.
And I'm just
asshole.
Gene Siskel is better than that. That's the thing for me is I understand that people don't like Siskel and Ebert, and I get all the individual reasons that people don't like Siskel and or Ebert. But Siskel is actually better than that. That's actually really disgusting for Gene Siskel.
That's terrible.
It's just such a sensationalist kind of review kind of thing, right? It's just he's trying to get a buzzy kind of this will make people stand up and take notice kind of review, and it's why don't you just review the movie instead of being snarky about it? It's
about someone's body.
And why bash?
She's a beautiful woman.
Why bash Ann-Margret? Although I guess at this point she was it's this really weird thing of suddenly she was not a popular actress, and so it was fine to just kind of go, yeah, Ann-Margret is fat and she's not hot at all, when in fact she's incredibly hot in this movie.
And fit.
Yeah, she's fit. Who is she fat compared to in this movie? Pom Pom, who is very skinny. I guess maybe, but Ann-Margret
was too skinny.
Yeah, Pom Pom was, she can use a meal kind of thing.
We are in that sort of in that era.
Twiggy?
I mean, we're not in the heroin chic era, but we are in the Twiggy era at this point in the late 60s and early 70s, and so maybe he's kind of going, man, it's just so disgusting. It's just what?
Yeah.
Siskel, you are. I respect Gene Siskel as a human being who has reasonable opinions, and this is the thing where you go. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, Gene Siskel.
That's disgusting. It pisses me off. I hate that shit. There were so many curvy women earlier too, and then this, because I know Twiggy became the huge sensation of being skinny, and it's okay, cool. Let make sure you're beautiful. Just don't ever eat, and you'll be beautiful.
I think we've gotten through 224 episodes, and I have not once described a woman as fat on this show. Because, I don't think I should ever do that.
No, don't. It's terrible. It's frustrating. That makes me angry.
Not that being fat is inherently if we did a Melissa McCarthy movie, and it's fat. I'm fat. Fat is not a negative. It's not something that it's not an insult. But certainly I wouldn't be you'd be hot except you're fat. That's a different thing.
It's okay. So it's someone posted this is totally off topic. I really apologize, but I have to bring this up. Someone posted about when girls post pictures of pre and after. I say with guys, I guess too. I should say that too. It's guys and girls. It's everybody. But they post I'm overweight here and now I'm at this weight I want to be. And everyone's like, oh, look how amazing you look, how fantastic you are, blah, blah. And they bring them up and it's this amazing person saying you were nothing when you were fat. And that's what really pisses me off, because it doesn't freaking matter. I had a friend who recently posted a picture of her weight after pregnancy, and now she's I hated myself, everything. And the first thing I posted was, you were beautiful then, you are beautiful now. And I hope you know that. That's it. Because people need to know, you as a person is beautiful. You as a person, doesn't matter, shape, body size, whatever. You are beautiful. And it's so terrible when you get those people doing those fat shaming comments. I'm sorry that I'm on this, but it's just something I'm really passionate about. I hate it because I see girls and I see guys struggle really bad because they all of a sudden get to this weight, something happened, whatever the case, they all of a sudden get chunkier and they hate themselves. They're ugly and they're not ugly. Great, I understand you get to that certain weight and the health is a little bit harder because of this, because of that, because whatever. But that's extreme. That's very extreme. As long as you're taking care of yourself, you're healthy, you're doing whatever you need to do to be good to your body where you feel good and you feel healthy, rock on. Rock your gorgeous body. Rock that beautiful self. Do it.
That's right, Gene Siskel. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I'm just going to say, Roosh V went on Dr. Phil in 2014. And did a fat shaming segment and talked about how great fat shaming was. And Roosh V was one of the progenitors of the Gamergate, and also posted a trolling blog post, which was I want to make rape legal in public places so that women will make better choices, et cetera, et cetera. This is how bad he is. Except he got worse because now he's actually a Nazi. And when I say actually a Nazi, he's now, and when I say now, I mean within the last couple of days, posted a blog post talking about how the Jews led him into a life of degeneracy, which was having sex with women back in the day. So
it's got dark quick.
There is a I can justify this in many other ways, which you can find on my other podcast. The misogynistic, fat shaming bullshit actually does lead to overt Nazi ideology. It's basically all grounded in eugenics. It turns out to be a thing. And this was not where I thought we were going to go in this episode.
No,
I'm sorry.
We had no other things to say except eugenics is a thing,
Can I steer away from race realism and eugenics to one more fun uplifting.
Yeah,
please do.
Okay.
I apologize. Please do. That was my fault.
Ann-Margret is hot. Also, eugenics is bad. Those are my two thoughts about this movie.
Fat shaming's bad.
Yeah. Fat shaming and eugenics are kind of the same thing. That was.
Oh, my bad.
So the name C.C. Ryder has its roots as a classic folk blues standard back in the day. So there's been many versions of this done by many artists, telling the story of an unfaithful male lover, commonly called an easy rider, or a woman who had liberal sexual views. So it's like an old kind of like an old blues standard. It's like letter C rider, or CC rider as in SEE rider. There's different versions of it. And of course, the song, one version of the song is actually done by Mitch Ryder, which is a weird coincidence.
Well, they reference Easy Rider in the film, and I kind of took that as like referencing the film Easy Rider. Like, yeah, cool your jets there, easy rider, like,
Yeah.
And this being a sort of cash grab for the Easy Rider money, because this comes out a year after. But like, yeah, no, I feel like, there's something to the kind of like biker culture in the late 60s and early 70s that we've kind of missed in this review. And that's because it turns out that we're not people who care about motorcycle culture in 1969 to 1973.
No,
yeah,
not at all.
For those of you who are, please comment.
Yeah, I'm sure we got a lot.
Also, the film isn't about that at all. The film is about like Ann-Margret being hot. That's all that's all this movie is ultimately about.
Being hot and
so beautiful.
Being hot and making bad decisions in men. That's
Yep.
Well,
that's like my high school.
Hot girls making bad decisions with men is basically the only way I ever get laid. So I'm not gonna disclaim that.
Haley.
Okay, fine. You'll do. It's fine. Yeah.
So what were you thinking about doing next, Daniel? Magnolia, you suggested possibly?
I mean, I don't know if you want to.
I'd be up for doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a movie that meant a lot to me when upon its initial release, and I feel like we should do it on this podcast at some point. I have here still in its cellophane packaging the Glenda Farrell triple feature, which includes The Law in Her Hands, which I know we wanted to do, and Here Comes Carter and Dance Charlie Dance, and I know we want to do that like three per as an episode, but it'll probably take me a little bit to get to purchase a copy for the two Lees.
Yes.
Because certainly I would not provide that illegally to anyone.
That would be illegal, Daniel.
I spent $23 for this from the Warner Archive, and I think we should all spend that and make sure that we all have our own copy. So anyway, but I think before we get there, I think we should do a movie. And I was just kind of like I saw a reference to Amy Mann and went like, oh yeah, Magnolia. It's a great film. A film that I think is really interesting, and a film that I think we should cover. So yeah,
awesome.
Let's do Magnolia. And I'll probably even write a synopsis for that one, which is going. I will come for Magnolia. I will come back and write a synopsis.
You hear that, guys? Daniel is going to come out of synopsis retirement.
Mr. Fancy Pants has got some pants that are fancy.
And Lady Lee may not realize what, back in the day when I was doing synopses, what this meant for the show, because
I'm just going to go back and listen to these. Like, you don't understand. I'm dedicated.
Just go check out the Big Sleep episode. Go check out the Big Sleep episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I am like your groupie. Like I am that girl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch all them all and critique you guys and have a review and synopsis on all your episodes.
And also, Magnolia is the film that no one should ever attempt to synopsize. So like it's an additional challenge on top of that. So. I'm dedicating myself to. I have 2 weeks to synopsize the film Magnolia. So there we go. But I've watched it like 50 times probably, so I think it'll be fine.
Right.
Cheater.
Yeah, cheating. All right, Lady Lee, great to have you back.
Always a pleasure.
Welcome back anytime.
Please come back and talk about the Tom Cruise Respect the Cock movie from 1999.
Okay.
Respect the cock and tame the cunt, I think is the line. So
he's a real
he
prefigures the men's rights. Music.
I have a really hard time watching Tom Cruise in general. Like I can't. I just can't.
It's an ensemble piece.
Yeah, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about it. He's not in it for a lot of time, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I just.
Is there anything you need to plug, Lee? Any? You said you were going to do your homework. You had friends with like movie review sites and stuff, and you haven't brought.
Oh my goodness!
That's mostly my fault.
Yes,
but
that's okay because I did it last time. Okay, so my buddy Jay. He has a YouTube channel called We Promise Nothing, where he reviews movies, different kinds of movies. He also is currently in the process of creating something new. So the next time I get on here, there you go. I get to plug his new project. So,
okay. Cool.
But yes, definitely check out that one because he has those really cool movies and very fun to watch, very entertaining.
All right, we'll link that in the show notes. Daniel, where can people find you? What's going on?
I am on Twitter at Daniel Lee Harper. If you care to follow me there, it's not a good time. It's a really depressing time, but it's a time. You could check that out. You could also check out my other podcast, which I can't imagine you don't know this. But I do a podcast about Nazis and the terrible things that they say and the movement that is coming to crush not just our democracy, but all racial minorities within the North American continent. I'm working to fight them with a microphone. And you can find me do that on, and I don't speak German, .libsyn.com. So check that out if that's something that seems appealing to you. Which I know I'm underselling it. It doesn't seem very appealing at all, but it's
actually really interesting. I haven't been watching or listening. I haven't.
We tell jokes. It's fine. Also, I reviewed Birth of a Nation. Check out the Birth of a Nation episode. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. And you can listen to slightly less Nazi stuff on this podcast if you like to. TMBDOS.podbean.com, where you can find all of our podcasts, all of our side podcasts. We just recorded an episode of Cape Shit tonight, which should be probably coming out the week after you hear this, where we covered Captain America Civil War. And
which is terrible. I thought it was terrible.
Don't spoil the episode, Daniel. Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
I just want to make all our audience hate me more. That's the thing, is to get them to hate me the most. And then they will demand you fire me, and just you and Lady Lee will do the
No, you're irreplaceable. Stop that. I'm only here as like female. That's it.
You're the token female of the podcast?
Yeah, that's all. That's all.
Sure. You're just a girl.
I'm just a girl.
Show feet is, sorry.
So TMBDOS.podbean.com, or go to our Facebook group, They Must Be Destroyed on Sight, on Facebook, where you can interact with us and give us movie suggestions, tell us how terrible we are, tell us how great we are. And then, not a shit ton happens on that group, but there's decent people there, and sometimes some fun conversations happen, and that's still, that's the best way to get in touch with us and find out what's going on and all that shit. So suggest you do it.
Yeah.
If you're not already swamped by a litany of Facebook groups, and you're on Facebook every day and you hate your life and you kind of wish you never clicked on, then maybe you don't want to join our Facebook group, because they'll just add
or
to
you
your
do
suffering. Or maybe you hate yourself and you enjoy the pain,
or the fact that we are that brilliant and amazing, and you're like, I'm gonna laugh and love my life again. Positivity.
Maybe we will be the Facebook group that turns you around, turns the corner.
Yep.
you're like 2020's really got me down. 2021's not looking that great. I'm on Facebook. Life sucks. Oh wait, They Must Be Destroyed on Sight on Facebook. It's a podcast.
There we go.
I could talk with the brilliant hosts and request movies, and all of a sudden I have a purpose in my life. And if they had a Patreon, I'd give them at least $200 a month.
I do have a Patreon. You can support me, patreon.com/Daniel Harbour. Yeah.
There you go. Give him $200 a month. He'll kick back like 5 cents to me, and it'll be great.
Yeah. I will use it. I will use it to buy hard drives to store Nazi propaganda. That's what I will use it for. You know, and to buy beer. Those,
yeah.
Beer and hard drives sounds amazing.
Thank you guys for being on with me. Thank you, people, for listening. If you've listened this far, I don't know why the fuck you have.
I can't imagine why anyone would listen to 90 minutes about this stupid fucking movie. But, congratulations.
You are amazing. We love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will send your token for like a free blowjob or something in the mail. Or oral. To your lady.
or when you start up your own OnlyFans.
Yeah. OnlyFans.
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Free subscriptions.
We don't know which Lee is on top of which Lee. It's just a whole gamble.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're rolling the dice, but either way, you're going to enjoy it. So, anyway, we'll see you guys again when we see you.
you for listening to They Must Be Destroyed on Sight. For further episodes, our Apple Podcasts, Facebook, and YouTube links, please go to tmbdos.podbean.com. Thank you. Drive through.